What's going on, everybody?
We're live on Facebook and YouTube.
Cool.
We're loading up on Instagram.
All right. Give everyone a chance to load in here. Admit.
Instagram is live.
And James, can you log into the Zoom chat too? Actually, I'll monitor that. Admit all. Should not have done a waiting room for this. Participants. Here we go. Julie, what's going on? Beauty Bar Girls. You guys hear me okay, right? Kenzie. Give everyone a chance to load in here. Guys, so we're doing a Q&A for stylists today. So if you have any questions for your stylist or they ask you questions you can't really answer, you want some help, shoot them my way, have them load up. Hopefully they're with you guys live. If not, give them the link for the Zoom call and they could join. So what questions are you guys dying to know the answer to? And what stylists are on this page? James, I think you got some questions too that were submitted.
Yeah, we got a couple submitted questions.
All right, cool.
How can I attract and retain a loyal client base in a competitive market?
All right, so the question, guys, that somebody asked, because I have a couple different lives going right now, is how can I attract a loyal client base in a competitive market? And honestly, social media is the best way to do it. I feel position yourself as an authority on the service that you do the best. So if you're the best, if you have a stylist on your team and she's the best at highlights or she's the best at extensions or the best at microblading or the best at lashes or whatever, position herself and all of her content should be geared towards showcasing how good she is at what she does. Because once you capture a client, it's important that you keep the client, obviously, especially if you're advertising, using social media, you're paying money for the camera, you're paying money for the right kind of sound, the microphones, and all that stuff. If you attract the client and she doesn't stay, you just wasted all those efforts. So it's important that you wow that client with your skills. So that's the first thing. Be the best at what you do. And if you're the best at what you do, then when the client comes in, they're going to want to come back. So that's the most important thing you guys have to really, truly understand. Being so good, they can't ignore you. Now, James, in regards to that question, ask it again to me.
How can I attract and retain a loyal client base in a competitive market?
Yeah, retaining the clients is about the experience. So you're going to wow them with how good you do the service. And depending on if they come back or not, is how they felt. So I like to focus on feeling. And so it's important that your emotional intelligence is at an all-time high. And if you guys don't know the difference between emotional intelligence and intelligence, do a quick little Google search, go to ChatGPT. So it's EQ versus IQ. And I feel EQ is what we really need to master in the service industry. It's how that person feels and how do you pick up the certain vibes that they give off. A lot of times clients will come in with a picture because their boyfriend or their husband or somebody says that, hey, I think you should try this particular, this haircut or this color or this whatever, but it's not vibing with them. And so it's cool that you could pick up on that frequency. Or when a new client comes in the chair, first time doing their hair, and you sense they're nervous or uncomfortable, you have that question. Like you ask them, hey, where are you coming from? Why did you leave the last salon? Like have a little bit of a conversation about what their past experiences were so you don't duplicate that past experience and you're able to grow and keep that client and retain that client. So always base the retention on how a client feels. How do you want your client to feel when they're paying for the service? How do you want them to feel when they're making an appointment? How do you want them to feel when they're drinking a cup of coffee in your salon? How do you want them to feel about every step of that service from getting shampooed? Did they get wet? Like, did you soak them at the sink? Are you a client? Like, are you a client of your own salon? Maybe have that stylist blow your hair out. Maybe have that stylist color your hair. What happens is in our salons, we rush things service wise for each other, but take the time to really do the service properly. And what begins to happen is good habits will fall to the wayside and be replaced by bad habits because you're doing your friends and you're doing other coworkers in the salon. And what begins to happen is the experience starts to lessen. So don't ever change the experience, even if it's for a coworker. Make sure you deliver on anything. Make sure you deliver on everything, I should say. How you do anything is how you do everything. All right, James, any questions in the chat over there?
Yeah, we got a couple questions in the
Cool.
chat. We got tons of questions that were submitted, but we'll get to those. Pretty cut and dry. Best way to stay busy after the holidays. So you're gonna have to repeat that for the chat and Zoom. But best way to stay busy after the holidays.
All right.
I think that,
I'm going to answer that 1 second. Everyone on the call here in the community, we're still going to have our 1 o'clock call. This is specifically for your stylist, and these are the questions that you're having a hard time answer. So drop them in the chat over here. Whatever you're struggling with trying to communicate to your team, drop those questions in the chat right here in the community. I'm going to get to those first, and then we still have our 1 o'clock call. Just want to let you guys know that. All right, James, ask that question again. How to stay busy after the holidays?
yes.
All right. So one cool thing that you can do that works really well is give each one of your clients a $20 gift card that should be used in either January or February for a color service, let's say. So if you're super busy from November to end December, give away a gift card. Like get them back in the salon or give them a gift card to give to a friend that should be used in January or February. So it's like you're almost giving them a gift that they can give away. Stocking stuffers, any of those like white elephants, tricky trays events, give out gift cards to people that expire March 1st. And this will get them in the salon. Won't always, but that's one of the ways to do it. Pre-booking people, host an event, host some kind of a fun event post holidays. But the gift card is, I used that in the past. That worked really, really well. Another thing is just be so full of clientele that get consistent services, root touch-ups, those 4 to 8 week services that you're always going to have them in the salon. So just get a book built up of them to fill in your gaps in between extensions and those bigger ticket services like the lived in color and stuff. Okay, becoming contractors in Canada. So the beauty bar girls, can you do me a favor? Can you change your name or drop your name down? So I know who I'm speaking to in the community. Morgan. Oh, okay, cool. What's going on, Morgan? So having your team become independent contractors in Canada?
Yes.
All right. Did that document help at all?
They just know more about it. And
Yeah.
How it's going to help them so much more than
being an employee. All right. So this is a conversation that I have with a lot of people, and I'm going to go bring up my file for this. So there was a guide for Canada about being legal. Did you get a chance to check out that guide?
Yeah.
Handling their own taxes and the whole split of how that works. So did you read through that? But did that help you along the way as an owner?
It did, yeah. And I'm ready to have the conversation.
Okay.
With the girls about
Perfect.
switching over.
That conversation specifically is going to be good for us unless your team's listening right now, but that's good for me and you to articulate on the 1 o'clock call. But all right. So as an independent stylist, whether you're in the States or in Canada, there's certain criteria that your owner and you have to agree on because you're an independent contractor. And you're responsible for your own taxes, but it also enables her to give you a higher commission. There's certain deductions you get. I'm very familiar with the United States and all the deductions you get here. But in Canada, as an owner, Morgan, you're allowed to deduct certain things off your income, correct?
100%.
Yeah. So what that does is because you're independent, now you can deduct as a stylist, you have a little mini business. You have a micro business now. That share, and this goes for even W-2 employees, right? Any commission stylist or anyone who works in an establishment, it's a partnership. Like your job is to fulfill your end of the partnership by delivering on a great service. And either the owner pays for your taxes and they come out of your paycheck automatically, or you pay for them on your end by being an independent contractor, by filing certain 1099s and other different paperwork. But I want to get to the mindset you should have about being independent. In Canada and the States, Australia's a little tricky. You have deductions. So let's say you make $100,000 a year. That's what you take in through checks or through direct deposits to your account. Now, you have the ability to now deduct your scissors, some clothing, your cell phone, your vehicle, if it was used for work purposes. Like there's certain laws and criteria that the IRS allows you to deduct off your taxable income. And so you could essentially bring that tax liability, your responsibility, to almost nothing sometimes. Right? Obviously, you're going to pay something because you can't diminish everything. But at a certain point of growing a business, there's companies out there that take a loss and they don't pay any taxes because it was a loss that year. What are you investing in? Are you investing in, let's say, maybe a little studio for a podcast? What did you invest in this year? How can you deduct enough to make your tax liability as low as possible? Now, if you're a W-2 employee or if you're a regular employee in countries like Canada or the United States, you don't have the ability to do that. So the government takes their share first, and then they figure out what you get back at the end. And as an employee, you don't have the deductions that you could take as an independent contractor. So I know here in the States, one of the things that works out really well is the ability to pay your children a certain amount of income. I think it's like, let's call it 15,000, give or take a couple $100. And now you can pay your child up to $15,000 a year, which they don't pay taxes on because they're under 18 and there's some other stipulations in there. But let's say you're an independent contractor, you work in a salon, and now you have a kid who has daycare, right? You're paying for their daycare. Well, guess what? Now, because you're an independent stylist, you can pay for your kid's daycare out of their bank account. So essentially, you're not deducting like daycare. It's not a tax deduction for you, but the payment to your kid is. So it's about being knowledgeable of what the tax laws are, what your deductions are. And as an independent stylist, you have access to all of these deductions to truly build a business behind the chair. And I think it's really important as owners that you support your team with the knowledge of what's possible for them. And yeah, granted, it's a benefit for the owner and it's a benefit for the stylist as well to be independent. If you're growing and you're starting out and you're not making a ton of money, then it might be more beneficial to have them as a W-2 employee because then you can get the deduction and it's like a win-win for both. There is a certain threshold. Once you start hitting that 2,000 a week in your paycheck, it's time to really think about this as a business. Because if you're treating this like a business and you're posting every day on social media and you're creating the content and you're spending all the time and you're buying the scissors and you're buying the courses and you're taking the programs to become a better stylist, it's important that you take that off your income because you're investing not only the time, but you're also investing dollars into that. And as a W-2 employee, you don't really get access to getting any of that money back. So as an owner, it's important that you understand what those laws are, what those rules are, so you can articulate that to your team. And to me, if I was still an employee, I would 100% take the route as an independent stylist because now I could just dump more money into my own career that I can't do as a W-2 employee. But obviously, I'm an owner for a reason. I never thought like an employee. And so when I hire people, I like to hire for hunger and I like to make sure I want to know where their mindset's at. Like, what do you want from this career? So anyone listening that is an employee right now, I'm not sure if any of the owners ask these questions to your team, but these are 3 questions I like to ask to my team. What experiences do you want to have in this career? Like, what do you want to experience? Where do you want the career to take you? Where do you want to go? Like, how big do you see yourself? How big's your vision in this career? And then what kind of person do you need to become to make those experiences possible? And as an owner, you should be asking your team this. And as a team member, ask yourself these questions if your owner doesn't ask you. Make sure your owner has a vision big enough to fit your vision in it. And if not, how do you support them as an owner? Like, really think about these questions. And then number 3, how are you going to help other people make their experiences possible too? And this is when the whole entire vision comes full circle. So if you're on a salon team, right, and they bring on a new team member, how are you going to help their experiences become a reality? Like maybe they want to become a platform artist, but they don't have the skills yet, but you have the skills in color and color theory. Maybe take them aside and show them, maybe pour into them, maybe work with them a little more one-on-one, which indirectly increases your ability to teach and it increases your skills of transferring information. Well, you know what that does for you? It opens up a whole new avenue of income because if you create a business, a knowledge business that a lot of us do now have in the industry, you could have a course, you could have a coaching business, you could create your own little methodology of like extensions or color or whatever, which now you could package up and sell. So you're doing hair behind the chair, but you have this thing on the internet that teaches people how to do extensions your way or color your way. And now you got five, six, seven, $8,000 a month coming in, recurring revenue based on your little knowledge-based business. So I want you guys to all think about this as a business. And so even though you work in a salon, you're still part of a team and you could be independent as a team member. That's 100% possible. It's just the way your salons are going to construct or their entities, which makes it a reality for states like California and Pennsylvania and some of these other states. But Morgan, it's important that you have the conversation about where their vision is, where their goals are, and have them be crystal clear on where they want to go. Like just today, one of my assistants in the salon wanted to do, her goal was 10 blowouts a day. And I went back and forth with her. I'm like, why don't we just make it $500 a day? Because now your goal is limiting you to 10 blowouts a day. So let's do $500 a day. She's an assistant. It's a pretty unattainable, it's attainable, but it's a reach. I want her to stretch. And the vehicle that she's in right now as an assistant may not be the best vehicle to get her there. So when I say vehicle, I mean her current set of skills. So if you have a stylist on your team that's limited by her set of skills, it's up to you to help her acquire more skills to expand the vehicles she can take to get to that big dream and that big goal. And so I was like, well, you have to get better at blowing out hair, obviously. So I can teach you that. But what are you doing in your downtime? Are you just scrolling through Instagram or TikTok? Or are you really trying to master every single aspect of blowing out hair? So all the information you're consuming is going to help you out. Now, are you creating content on social media? Every single person out there should be creating content unless you have a ton of money to advertise yourself, because it's about the attention you get onto your social media page or the attention onto your Google page or the attention onto your Facebook page. How much attention are you gathering? So I told her, if you create content, and part of the strategy I have in my salon is she should be asking 3 questions a day to each one of my stylists. Now, if she asks 3 questions a day, she's going to get 3 answers a day. She could take those questions and answers and she can create content for them. So now she has content every single day coming out. So, hey guys, today I learned exactly why or why not you should have layers in your hair. So I'm going to show you a technique I learned, and she can demonstrate the technique on a mannequin. And what that does is it builds trust to people watching. And then her friends will be like, hey, I'm not going to say her name. Can you cut my hair? Can you try those layers in me? I really like the way that mannequin looked. And she's building authority on social media. Now she's building brand. She's getting clients in the salon. Well, guess what? Now she's not doing a mannequin. She's doing a real life model, which then helps her create more content, which helps build more trust. So as owners, and we'll get into our call about this, but it's your job to help pull that vision out of them. And any stylist watching either on Instagram or the platform or here in the community, it's important that you explain what your vision is if the owner never asked you. Like, they're in the program. So if you're watching in the community, the owners should be asking you what your vision is. It's important. It's part of the whole journey. And it's important that you understand that you are a key part of the team. You're not indispensable. Trust me. You can always be replaced. So don't feel like if you're making a lot of money for the salon that you have a one up on them. No. Just like your owners are trying to do the most that they can for you to support you and support your vision, it's important that you know what their vision is so you could help support that too. Think of the salon as like a puzzle, and you're a very crucial piece of that puzzle. Where do you fit in? How do you complete that salon? That's what I want you guys to think about here. It's important that you're understanding, like, you all have to work together. And so, yeah, they're taking on the responsibility of the rent, of getting color. They're taking on the responsibility of making sure you have an assistant, make sure the phones are there, making sure you have the internet, making sure that there's coffee, there's water, there's all kinds of refreshments. That just doesn't, that's not free. That doesn't magically happen. Your salon owner pays for that. Okay. And if you're a W-2 employee, they're also covering some of your payroll tax. They're covering any kind of other liabilities that you have. So as a stylist, like, you have so much opportunity to really grow a business here behind the chair, even if they're taking 60%, you're keeping 40 or whatever the commission split is. Like, you don't have to pay the rent. So if you have a slow week, that's fine. If you have a slow month, that's okay too, because you're straight up commission. But when the salon collective is a slow week, that's less money used for advertising. That's less money going out for refreshments, going out for coffee, better amenities. So it's really truly up to you as a stylist to articulate what your vision is to them, but also listen to your owners. Listen to what they're saying to you about what their vision is. How do you fit into that? How do you add value to the salon? Everyone talks about making more money, but what are you doing to add value to the salon? Like, are you really showing up every single day the way you should, the way they're showing up? And so if you're not, ask them, how do I show up? How can I show up? How can I support the salon better? What can I do to make the salon run more smooth? And if you're asking those questions, then you deliver on what they're asking you to do, then you have some room to negotiate some commission. But it's funny, people always want to make more commission, but they don't want to do more. Yeah, you're sharing in the profits together with the owners. So if someone delivered, great social media content for my salon, they were going above and beyond to edit the content. They were bringing in $5,000 a week. They were teaching the staff. They were adding value to the team. Do you know what? If they ask me for a higher commission structure, if it's win-win, as long as I'm not losing money, as long as I'm still able to reinvest into the salon and grow, then yeah, I'm gonna come to an agreement with them. That's just human nature. That's how we do business. Just like every single person out there should be negotiating with their vendors to get discounts. It's okay to have that conversation, but what are you bringing to the table? Like, if you left the salon, would the salon feel it? I'm not saying you're irreplaceable. Everyone's replaceable. I'll promise you that. Like, I had people in my salon think of who they were, and it was very easy to let go of them. Every single negotiation between you and the owner, you and a stylist, you and your clients needs to be win-win. How do you win? How do I win? How does the stylist win? How does the salon win? So when it comes to growing your social media, when it comes to anything you do in a salon, like, I can't tell you how many times I watch a stylist walk past a foil on the floor. The one thing that every single person who works in the salon, whether you're a W-2 employee, whether you're an independent contractor, whether you're a renter, is you truly have to treat it like your home, because it is your home. Because when a client comes in off your Instagram post and the salon's a little bit of a mess, and you just had 20 minutes of downtime in between clients, and you sat in the back doing nothing except for doom scrolling, you could have walked around the salon to see what could have been maybe a little neatened. That way, when your client walks in, the salon's appearance is a little better because the salon's really crazy and chaotic that day. Like, just think about that. Now, when the client comes into the salon and her first impression of, oh, it's a little messy in here, it's a little dirty in here, even though the salon was cleaned in the beginning of the day, but it was a little chaotic. So now there's hair on the floor. Like, what are you doing to make sure that the environment, your salon home, is truly your home and you're treating it like that? Like, what are you doing to go above and beyond? And so a lot of times we talk about what owners need to do. It's, what do you need to do as a stylist? And I'm not saying get taken advantage of. You need to be in the right fit salon for you. You need to make sure that that's being respected. Okay, but how are you showing up every single day? Do you like going to work? Like, are you enjoying the work atmosphere? And if you're not, are you having the conversations with the owner? Like, what are you doing to make sure that you love going to work every day? Ask yourself that question. James, again, guys in the community, if you have any more questions, please ask it in the chat.
We got a couple questions, so I know we only got a little bit of time. So
fire through.
Let's rapid fire.
Yeah,
through
rapid
them.
fire.
After a relocation to a different state, what would you recommend to build up new clients?
Okay, after relocation to a different state, what would I do to recommend building up clients? So anyone listening right now on this call, you have a stylist on your team. She moved from Minnesota and your salon's in Texas. Here's what you do. You have her reach out to every single client, every single family member, and leave her a positive review on your Google business page, on your Yelp page, on your Facebook page. Every single piece of content, or means every single piece of every single social media platform or review platform, have her old clients leave her review on in the new salon's Google business page or whatever review platform. Now, if you're in a suite or something like that, reach out to them or relocate your Google business page to the new address. But I would have every single person start leaving me reviews. I would join every mom's Facebook group. If I'm a mom, I would join every kind of activity Facebook group in my community. I would participate in the community. I would try and shake as many hands as I could and kiss as many babies as I could in order to get as much attention on me and enough people knowing who I am. Now, you guys might think that, wow, this seems like a lot of work. Well, you have two choices. You could sit in the salon waiting for clients to come in and do nothing, or you could do a lot of work. Like, people have a schedule, right? Let's say 9 to 5 is your schedule. So you go to the salon and you sit there and you wait for the phone to ring. And then you leave the salon at 5 o'clock and you did nothing. Guess what? Tomorrow you're going to go in there, phone's not going to ring. Instead, from 9 to 5, create content, do Q&As, message people, DM people, say thank you and all the reviews you got from everybody. Do something to get some attention. Do a model search, bring in some models, create some content. From 9 to 5, the only thing you should be doing is focusing on trying to get clients in your salon. And it may not happen Monday, it may not happen Tuesday, but guess what? The stuff you did on Monday, it might trigger someone to call your salon on a Friday. So then if you only put in a couple of days of doing this and like, I got no results, well, you just quit. So obviously you're not going to get results. You do it every single day. And if it's not working, then you do a minor pivot. But I promise you, if you participate in the social media game and you go on all these groups on Facebook, or you go on LinkedIn and create content, you go on Instagram and create content, you go to all the little fairs and events, you start doing models, you will get busy. But the first thing I would do, so I don't ramble too long, is I would have every single one of my clients that I love, every single family member, every single person that ever asked for a service from me and that I did it on, leave me a 5-star review on every single platform in my new location area. Next question, James.
For someone on a budget, best ways to invest in yourself.
Someone on a budget, best ways to invest in yourself. First, identify why you're on a budget and figure out like what is the reason why you're on a budget. Is it a limited belief around investing in yourself? Investing in yourself is one of the best things you could do to really truly grow and scale your personal economy. But outside of that, I would go to YouTube, I would go to podcasts, and I would read books, and I would get in ChatGPT. If I had no money to invest in myself, I would become a sponge of every single person out there. Like my content, there's a ton of other coaches' content out there. I mean, YouTube is gigantic with information. And don't limit yourself just to this industry. Go outside of this industry and see what other people are doing and see how you can make that work in our industry. And then that way, you won't be on a budget anymore. And change your mindset around being on a budget. Next question.
Next question we have: how do I deal with feeling bad about having to say no to clients trying to book last minute? I hate saying no to business, but also can't wear myself out.
Okay. So, guys, if you didn't hear your question, how do I, James, repeat that again?
How do I deal with feeling bad about having to say no to clients trying to book last minute? I hate saying no to business, but also can't wear myself out.
Okay. I asked that person, hey, person, how do I get around the feeling of saying no to clients when I don't want to burn myself out? You need to have an assistant then. And you need to have a what's next. So you can't book with me, but you could book with Justin, but you could book with Elisa, you can book with Vanessa, you can book with Bridget. I'll be in the salon, like, or have a personal assistant if you're that busy right now to offload some of the overflow. And a lot of people tell me, I don't want to double book. Well, then you want to make money. It's very simple. The reason why I book the way I booked is because I know that thing is getting away. And I know that there's traffic, and I know that kids throw up and they can't go to school, and I know that issues happen. So when my client says, hey, I can't make it at 10, do you know what I say to them? Come in whenever. Come in anytime. And people they flip out like, oh my God, I can't handle stress. They know I said come in anytime. They know they might have to wait a couple minutes. They know that I may not be the person putting on their color, but they know that I'm the person there to guarantee the result. And so I don't need to do every single client's hair. All my clients would come in if they had an issue. Don't worry about it. Jen, come in whenever you can. 12-ish. Does that work for you? Can you get babysitter by 12? Awesome. No problem. I may have a couple people help me out. I don't care. I just want to get my color done. I'm going on vacation. I can't have gray hair. Awesome. Guess what? They know the situation. But guess what that does? It allows you now to have a team member do their hair and maybe share the client. And so now they trust somebody else in the salon. So don't feel bad. If you have to say no, you have to say no. That teaches them to pre-book their appointments. And it teaches them that maybe they should, actually pre-book next time they come in. But it also should show you that you should have an assistant or someone helping you out in these times. Next question, James.
Dealing with finding out a client is talking shit about you to other clients, but still comes to see you and is nice to your face. She's NKT, a friend, not a
Okay.
friend, I'm guessing.
Yes, you're not a friend.
She's not a friend, but a client that keeps sending referrals.
All right. So, guys, you heard the question? Justin, raise your hand. Did you hear what he said? The question he asked? All right. He asked, well, how do you deal with a client that is sending referrals in, but talking shit behind your back to other clients? Gossiping, essentially.
And is nice to your face.
And is nice to your
keeps
face.
coming in.
All right. So, how I would handle this is how do you know that she's talking shit behind your back? First, identify the source. Like, where's that coming from? Like, who's telling you this information? And what's the motive behind telling you that she's doing this? So actions speak louder than words to me. If she's sending people into you still, that means she has to like you. She has to be saying you're good. So really break the whole situation down. Clients talking shit, still sending people into you. Like, where's the information coming from? So really get to the bottom of the source of the information. And if you can disclose, like, hey, I've heard this about you, or someone mentioned this to me, like, get to the bottom and address it. Like, hey, I really love doing your hair. Like, is everything cool? Like, are you unhappy? And address it. Never assume that it's actually real. In fact, maybe the person who told you is the person stirring the pot. So I want you guys to really break this down and figure out what's going on here. And if a client's talking shit about you, but still sending you people, address it. Okay, I love doing hair, but I keep hearing these things. Give me some clarity on it. Always seek first to understand. And if it is a situation where she is gossiping about you and talking shit, then get rid of her. You don't need to keep her as a client. But I would 100%, I would just get to the source of the problem and then figure out, I'm hearing this, but her actions are saying something different. And then I would really approach the conversation in that manner. Just really, truly, genuinely curious about what's going on. James. Next question.
We have, I think, one more in the chat.
And they got a couple of the
I'm
uploaded
trying to
ones.
find it, but we have a couple that people submitted. What systems can I put in place to streamline my day-to-day operations and manage time effectively?
All right. So they asked what systems they could put in place
to streamline their day-to-day operations and manage their time effectively.
Are you using a booking software? I hope. Time blocking is a great system, but really, are you asking from an owner perspective or a stylist perspective?
This was a submitted question.
Okay. So focus on managing your energy. Like, don't try and do 100 different things in one day. If you're doing hair that day, just do hair that day. Like, don't try and stuff too much in your schedule because it doesn't usually work out the way you want it to. Master your timing as a stylist. This is a big conversation. You should not take 3 hours to do a full highlight unless you're doing a complete blonde transformation. Like, if you're doing a full blonde platinum card, foiling every piece of hair, that's one thing. What is your approach to the service? Why is it taking you so long? Are you spending more time second guessing the placement of foils? Well, then become a master of placing foils. That way you don't have to second guess yourself. I think managing your time behind the chair is crucial. And I think what happened in our industry was we as stylists decided that it stressed us out. So now we're going to just create a luxury experience and do one client a day. Well, guess what? If that client cancels on you that day because something happens, you have no one today. So learn how to master your time and your application time and your processing time. And so this way you could do multiple people at once and have it be very stress-free. I would have 5 clients in my salon in a 90-minute period coming and going, and it was very stress-free. I had plenty of time to drink coffee, talk to Barbara about her niece's birthday, find out what's going on with the wedding with Diane. Like, I didn't stress because I knew how long it took me to do certain things, and I knew what the processing time was. And I had assistance. So in order to really manage your day-to-day, you have to become masterful at applying color, foils, learning how to cut hair in a certain amount of time. I cut hair dry. It worked out great for me. My assistants would blow my clients out. Then I would cut hair. You have to truly understand that this is the service industry and nobody wants to sit in a salon for 5 hours getting their hair done. I promise you, I don't care if you're from Arkansas or from New York City. I don't care what kind of experience you have in your salon. Nobody has time for that anymore. So if you're saying, oh, I take my time and really give a thorough experience. No, you're just not good enough to be fast enough. Get better. this is coming from a place of love. Trust me. Your clients want to get in and out of the salon. Sometimes they want to hang out because they got 5 kids at home and they're trying not to go back home to the kids. I get it. You have a great experience, but nobody wants to sit in a chair having their head fucking bent this way and bent that way and bent down and get foils in the head and have the head taken out. And then you were running behind. So like you're running too slow. So this foil is processed now, but this one's not processed. So now you're sitting in the sink, soaking wet with 4 foils in your hair because it didn't process fast enough. Telling you nobody wants that. Get better at the systems that you use to make you apply the service that much faster. I promise you, I've been doing this a very long time. If you do that, you're going to have a fucking amazing career and you're going to build a great clientele.
I thought a half hour to 45 minutes for a men's haircut was too long. 5 hours? Jeez.
Yeah, dude. Some people sit in the salon for 5 hours.
Jeez. Who's got time for that?
Yeah, I like a 5 to 10 minute haircut. That's all I need. Like I tell Dan the barber here, Dan loves taking his time. Dan's one of those guys. He wants to do the beard. He wants to fade your hair. I'm like, bro, let's go. Open one, bring it up, fade it in. I'm good. You want me to edge you out? Nope. I can shave myself. I don't need a razor. But you guys see me. I speak fast. I move fast. I'm just very fast. It's hard on vacation with my family. It's hard for me to relax. Like I'm just go. Like I just don't know how. It's in my DNA now.
I've known Nick for 15 years, and I don't think I saw him sit down and watch TV once until he had kids. Like I saw him sitting down with his kids watching a TV show. I was like, I've never seen this before.
Like I have to truly be present with my children to watch TV with them. It drives me nuts, but I just am spending time with them. So it's like I just know that but I have goals in life, right? I understand that I want to be this, I want to be here. And so as stylists watching this, because it's a stylist focus now, how much you want to make? Give me a number. James, anyone in the chat right now watching on the live, give me a number. Any stylist who's part of a salon here, give me a number of what you want to make and I'll unpack it and make it a reality for you. Any single person. $200,000 a year. All right, perfect. You as a stylist to make $200,000 a year, let's do it. So, I mean, like I said before, what vehicle are you taking? Are you just doing blowouts? What's your skill set? So to me, if I had to make $200,000 a year, which I've done behind the chair before, but in today's times with what we have access to, right? You have a couple different things. One, extensions. Get really good at extensions. Become the best at extensions in your area. Almost so good that people fly in from everywhere all over the world to have you install their extensions. And if you do that, I mean, you could essentially book, let's say you do 2 installs a day at $1,500 an install. That's $3,000 a day times 5 days a week. That's $15,000 a week times 52 weeks in a year. I'm just throwing numbers out there. That's $780,000 a year. Okay. Let's say you're on a 50-50 commission split. That's $390,000 a year. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but is that impossible to do? Like ask yourself, is it impossible to be so good at extensions that you do 2 installs a day? And if you're so sought out that people will pay that price, and that's hair included too. So let's cut that in half as well. So let's take 25% for the hair. Okay. So it's like you're at your 200 right there. Maybe it's products. Maybe you're really good on TikTok and you talk to the owner about working at a deal where you help build them a Shopify store. You create some kind of affiliate link. And now you do product reviews every single day on the product you sell in the salon. One of those TikToks or Instagrams go viral. And 10,000 people just bought that shampoo. And so $10 profit times 10,000. Let's do that math. That's $100,000. So you just made the salon 100 grand. That's off one video. Now let's say you split that with the salon. That's going to be 50 grand. You do that 3 times in the year. Okay. You're at 150. In addition to any other affiliate marketing you have. And plus whatever you're doing behind the chair. Guys, like it's like you live in an era today where hairstylists probably make more than doctors because insurance companies aren't paying them shit anymore. Do you understand what you have access to? Your owners are giving you a salon that you're going in with no headaches. They're paying the rent. They're paying for the water bill. Magically, color, you flush it down the drain because you're wasting color. Magically, it appears again on the fucking shelf. Holy shit. Like, take some like, have a little respect for the owners. Listen, there's some douchebag owners out there. I get it. But if you truly focus on your self-development and becoming a better stylist every single day and adding as much value to the salon, if it's not reciprocated, guess what you do? You leave, and guess what you have? You have good habits that any other great owner would want to have in your salon. Or guess what? You open your own place. Or even better, if you had a great owner and you're a great stylist and they have a system like I teach that is for the what's next, guess what you guys do? You open another salon. And then you're the same kind of leader. And then you have a great stylist. And then she's amazing. And then guess what you guys do? You open another salon. And then guess what? She opens a salon and she has a great stylist. Guess what you guys do? You open another salon. And then you have 5 to 10 affiliate salons in your network that you're all buying products for at a discount because you're buying them together. When you have an educator come in, guess what you're doing? You're chipping in together. Guess what happens when you're overbooked and you need to send somebody somewhere? You're sending it to a salon that you own or you have a percentage of the profits from. And guess what you do? Then you buy a building. And now you own real estate, and now you own salons, and you're creating an empire because you guys are connected together. So I'm going to leave you guys on a note right now. And I tell this story all the time. If you guys missed it, then it's going to be new to you. And if you heard it before, well, then enjoy it. There's a dad with 10 sons. And his father sat his sons down in a circle, and he gave each one of his kids a big bundle of sticks. And he's like, I want you guys to break this bundle of sticks. And then one by one, each son tried to break the bundle of sticks. And they couldn't. He untied the bundle of sticks. He gave each one of the kids a single stick to break. Every single one of his sons broke that stick. He says, guys, if you stick together, you can never be broken. If someone could separate you, you'll be easily snapped. So let that be a little lesson to you guys. If you stick together as a salon, as a unit, as a team, and work together, you guys will be super successful. Rising tides raise all ships, raise all boats. Like just by you showing up, the stylist next to you is going to see that and be like, oh shit, I got to really show up. Look at Jen. She got 5 new clients this week because she's posting every day. And then Vanessa does it. And then Nancy does it. And then Bridget does it. And then Kate does it. And then Julie does it. And next thing you know, your salons, like the average stylist is pushing out $5,000 a week per stylist. Like that is awesome. You guys understand what opportunity you have here? Like, it's not just about you. It's about working together as a team. All right. On that note, awesome Q&A, guys. Thanks for chipping out on Instagram. Guys in the community, we're still doing our 1 o'clock call today. So we're going to do that Q&A, more business, more leadership. Obviously, this is for your stylist. So hopefully you guys got you got some questions answered here. And then Morgan will go dive deep, me and you, with the Canadian family I have up there in Canada about the independent stylist stuff. We're going to do that as well. Because I know the America one inside and out. Canada, I'm still learning. So I want to make sure I'm giving you proper information for them. But we're going to bring on an accountant from Canada, and we're going to really make this system that I do for Americans work for you guys in Canada too. So at least I will make that a reel, hopefully. Which part should I make that a reel? The teamwork one? Because we're recording this too. So everything will be
the teamwork one and
okay.
Not taking 5 hours of someone's hair.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. I'll see you at 1 o'clock. I'm gonna get some water and take a little break, but awesome call. Justin, you got my email about today's call. Somehow you got cycled in today at 12. All right, cool. And then we'll chat later. All right, everyone. I'll see you in about 15 minutes.